mindfulness has probably been the one thing, the biggest thing for me that's changed my relationship with my life, my relationships in my life, my relationship with my mind, and the ability to stay calm amid the chaos. And it's something I've practiced for 7 years now. It's something I've been all over the world learning about. I've spent time in Thailand with Buddhist monks. I have lived with Buddhist nuns. I've spent time in France in Thich Nhat Hanh's Plum Village. And it makes so much sense to me that everything begins in the mind. So if we can master our mind, everything else becomes so much easier. And it's something I found to be true. So what we think becomes how we feel. That then becomes how we act. So whatever results in our life has begun in our mind as a thought. And it's so important to our resilience, but also it's so important to keeping us calm, balancing our busyness, helping battle some of that overwhelm that sometimes comes up when things are busy. But also it plays a massive role in our mindset. Whether we think we can or we can't, we're probably right. You know, that old Henry Ford quote that's used so much, and it's so true. And that is all about our mind. Whether we look in the mirror and like the person that's looking back at us, that's in our mind too. So the mind is so important in all of these areas, which is why we need to devote time looking after it. And when you think about the amount of time we devote looking after our physical body, the gym memberships, the diets, the beauty products, the clothes, the haircuts, the massage, whatever it is you do, we do so much more generally for our physical body than we do our mental health. And there's a few basics: getting enough sleep, who we hang around with, our self-talk, that sort of thing. But there's also a lot of other things we can do to help reset the mind, to help train the mind, but more importantly, to help rest the mind. Because we used to have natural pauses in our day, times when we were waiting for the bus for work, times that we were waiting for the kettle to boil, and they would be kind of idling times for our mind when we could press reset, we could check in with ourselves. And of course now with our technological evolution, we are scrolling through our devices. We don't have pauses anymore. In fact, the opposite. We're using those pauses to fill our minds with more information. It's no wonder it feels such a busy, cluttered, chaotic space sometimes. And then we think about how that then plays out in our life. And it's no wonder we feel busy, overwhelmed, and crazy sometimes. So what can you do? I've got a whole online course in this space, and I'm not going to try and fit that into a couple of minutes, but I am going to give you some top tips. One of the things that has made the most difference for me is meditation. This is not something that costs me any money or takes me a lot of time, but it's something I practice regularly and have done for years. And it's something that can fit in any part of your day. For me, it's first thing in the morning. And I sit for 10 minutes just watching my breathing, just breathing in and out. There's lots of apps that can help you with this. I use Insight Timer a lot. It's a free app, and that can help you if you're a beginner as well, guide you with some of this stuff and give you a good starting point. And I'd recommend start something like this, do it for 10 days and see how you feel, because you will notice a difference in yourself. And that's what spurred me to continue, but also spurred me to learn more about this and actually get to a point where I'm teaching it myself. There are other options. I have a dog, and whenever I walk this dog, I use it as an opportunity to practice notice 5 things. A really simple exercise you can do anywhere. Walking the dog is great, but you could even do it in the supermarket. And it is what it says. You stop and you notice 5 things. That's something you see, smell, hear, feel. And it opens your senses. It resets your mind because it brings you back to the present. So often, the thing about mindfulness is it is all about being in the present. It's about being in now. And then we're aware, and then we're here, and our minds are at rest. But so often our minds are busy going over the past, worrying about the future, that we're not in the present. And mindfulness helps us come back to the present, even if it's walking on your way to work, feeling the sun on your face, noticing the birds singing in the trees, looking at the faces of people that you pass by. It's all mindfulness. Some people find this reset of their mind when they go running, when they go swimming. It's about being present and being in the now and being 100% absorbed in what you're doing and where you are and this present moment. So it doesn't have to be difficult, but it is practice. It is consistency. That's the key. It's little and often. Doesn't mean you have to go on a meditation retreat once a year for a week. It means that if you can find 5 minutes every other day, that's going to make the biggest difference. Another great tip to help calm ourselves, calm our mind, and balance some of that busyness and help overcome some of that overwhelm is breathing. Now, I know we've been breathing since the moment we were born, but not many of us are aware of how we breathe and if we do it properly. And so few of us actually take real good deep breaths. So if the only thing you do is take 3 full deep diaphragmatic belly breaths when you wake up in the morning, then you will automatically feel more calm, more at peace, and less overwhelmed before you start your day. Or use it as a technique when you're going into an important meeting, you've got a bit of nerves, maybe you're going for a job interview, 3 deep breaths. And they're deep breaths that you feel right into your belly, as opposed to just here in our shoulders. So dropping the shoulders back, let's try it now. Drop the shoulders back and just take a deep breath in right into your belly. You'll feel the ribs, the rib cage coming out and in. You'll see the belly rise and fall. That's a proper belly breath. If you do 3 of those, you might feel a bit dizzy to start with, and get into the habit. You'll automatically be sending messages to the physiological body that you're calm, and therefore your heart rate slows down, and therefore your brain becomes more calm, so you feel less overwhelmed. I hope those tips have been useful. As I said, there's a whole online course on the art of mindfulness that I do, so feel free to check that out if you're interested in learning more.